All right. So, what do you guys think? I got a little something different going on here. Uh, got a new intro screen. This has been in the works for a while, and unfortunately, this is not how I wanted it to turn out. But we do what we got to do, and I feel like improvising a little bit. And what do you guys think of the song? Here, let me just before I go over, let me switch over to hello. All right, so how's everyone doing today? Happy Monday. Let's get the music going. Or not Monday. It's Tuesday. For me, it feels like a Monday. All right. So if you guys are interested, I actually bought that song off of this guy. His name is Jacob. He does a lot of free like rock metal stuff, and I find his stuff really cool. So if you guys want to check him out, the song that you just heard was called Not Afraid, I believe. Nice search. Yeah. So, Not Afraid. Jacob did a killer job on this. He has a lot of cool stuff. So if you guys are into that kind of thing, definitely go check him out. This is another good one here, Solitude. But let's not delay this any further. How's everyone doing? Definitely, finally, something has happened. I think this was a week of maybe 2 weeks of nothingness. Let's see, when we first bottom. The 28th. God, how long are you? Yeah, it's been over a week of nothing. So finally something happened. Let's talk about it. What's next on the rotation or on the menu? And let's get to it. So first of all, I don't know if I said hello. Let's say hello first, actually. Amar, hello. Trevor, how you doing? I hope you guys caught Kite stream earlier. Definitely a good time. Trevor, fire, it's good. I hope you guys like it. Intro screen is clean. Thank you. I appreciate it. I wasn't necessarily a thing what I wanted to go with, but the guy who originally did that for me just was not answering my emails, so I decided to take it in my own hands. And so hopefully down the road we'll figure out something different. But I think that was the best thing I could come up with. So little bit of the Johnny Crypto touch. All right. So last time we talked, we were kind of just consolidating in this range here, forming this boring triangle here, nothing going on. And overall, like, I'm not surprised. I was possibly looking for some sort of false break. Like, I wanted to see like some sort of actually let me get the brush out. I wanted to see something like this and take out this high, and that would form its own little ABC setup, and that would have been probably the ultimate fake out in my opinion. I wanted to see something like this. I don't know where that low was. Garbage regardless. And possibly shorting that. But I did not catch that, by the way, but I did catch a good decent size short. Not decent, but I caught a decent setup on ETH. We'll talk about that here in a moment. So what's next on the menu for Bitcoin? And to be honest, as long as we're down here, we do have this area of support kind of holding us down. In this area here, and it's something I have mentioned in the past. So it could definitely kind of consolidate, find decent support, and come back up through past this low in this consolidation area. And to be honest, it could be a good possible bottom. It's hard for me to say that this is going to be a bottoming area, because to me, we're like kind of in this lower region here. I know if you guys watch me, you probably watch Kite. If you don't watch Kite, you definitely go subscribe to his channel. I almost said don't, but definitely do. He talks about an Adam and Eve pattern, and absolutely 100% in the cards. Something I keep an eye out is you have basically a sharp decline, a decent, this is a sharp recovery and a rounded bottom. And then basically once you break the neckline, that is a good bullish sign. And that is a structure that definitely has called bottoms to almost every single bear market that we've ever had in Bitcoin's history. So definitely that's holds some value to me, and it probably should hold some value to you. But if it's something I learned from the past, is that you can't be so dead set on a certain direction. Now, if this were going to be a bottom, it's I definitely can see this happening. But the other part of me that wants to kind of lean the other direction says something a little different. For me, I think another viable option is this being one gigantic ABC. Now, when I talk about this, more of the bigger structures, just in most ABCs in general, are gonna form some sort of ABC within its own wave. And let me just illustrate that for you guys here. ABC, ABC. And then I personally think, to me, when I look at this on a much more zoomed out, bigger time frame, it kind of looks like a bigger ABC to me. I don't know. And the more I look at it, the more I think, and the fact that we're continuing the drop makes me think that this is a more valid setup, that this is going to be a much larger ABC to the downside. Now, just remember, I'm not 100% dead set on this. I'm just as, the idea of this being an Adam and Eve is just as likely as the ABC, in my opinion. I hold those as about like a 50-50 chance. I don't particularly lean a certain way, but the ABC trader part of me says this wants to go down and put in a lower low. The like kind of the real me, the kind of mix of the trader me and the actual me wants to say that if this is going to bottom, this is going to form an Adam and Eve, and now is a good time to do it. Just because we're dumping here doesn't mean that it can't still do it. I just have to kind of see how it kind of, if it does recover, and how it's going to look on a bigger term. But for me, I can hold both scenarios at equal weight, in my opinion. So if that is the case, if this is going to be a much larger ABC based off of this setup here, obviously the place to definitely want to go long at is that's 17,650 area. Again, actually a little probably. I'll get a more exact price level for you guys, but that's something on a bigger scale that I like. That's a very nice ABC setup on a larger scale, so that's something I'm looking at. Let's just go over the other possible scenarios just in case we do get an Adam and Eve bottom to where we don't put in a lower low. Let's see. If that is the case, I have a couple areas where I would like to go long off of. And how I'm going to approach this is a little different. I'm not too sure how I'm necessarily going to do this. I know there's other people who are learning this method or are relatively new to the channel. And to those who are relatively new and want to learn the strategy, or are, currently learning / practicing the strategy, I would say to steer away from this at first, is because unless you have good fundamentals in place, you can manage how to do this. You can manage to keep good risk. This can definitely lead to sort of a very aggressive / borderline gambling style of trading, to where you can easily start sectioning your trades to where you're catching bottoms or trying to short tops. That is not good, or as I like to call it, DCAing into leverage positions. And that's something you do not want to do while leverage trading. So I'm still on the fence. I'm thinking about it in real time, how I'm going to approach this. As of right now, I'm going to be taking longs off of both of these structures. All right, let me just paint that out for you. You have this bigger ABC. All right, and the macro pivot for that is going to be around 20,711 around there, 720. And the smaller ABC is gonna be around 19,530. I'll zoom in and see if I can get a more exact area, but the smaller structure is something like this. Actually, they're gonna move that A. But that's what I'm looking at. And if price gets back above, I'm probably gonna do something like either a 25-75 split or like a 50-50 split. But to be honest, if you guys aren't going to do that, which I recommend most of you don't, I would say I would give you the green light to go take a regular size position on the smaller one here. Because to me, if support can't hold in this region that I mentioned earlier in this boxed area, I really think there's nothing left holding it until you get a lower low. So that's going to be a nice area to long off of. I think that's definitely going to show bullish signs. I definitely think that this is definitely a good spot to take a long off of. So that's just me, not financial advice. This is just my personal opinion, because I know some of you guys are going to ask me, and my answer is I think you guys can have the green light to go ahead and take a full size position on this. Now, when I mean full size, stick to good risk parameters, use 1%, do what you got to do. Just try not to be too aggressive and risk too much. But besides that, that's pretty much it. Let's talk about Ethan. Let's talk about how I'm currently got into shorting this little dump. And I'm holding it because it's just as a precaution. As you guys know from previous streams, I am currently long off of this setup here. All right, that green line represents pretty much my entry, and then the actual bigger structure is something like this. Now, as price is developing, to me, I definitely can see this being a much larger ABC to the downside. So let me just trace that for you. Something like that. I could definitely see that being an absolute possibility. And the more, if price continues to dump, I'm definitely going to be leaning more on the fence to that side. I don't think ETH is definitely going to drop. I don't think ETH is past the point of testing the low, unless like ETH 2.0, like unless people sell the absolute crap out of that. I don't see it happening, or I don't see it highly likely, or I don't see a high possibility or probability of it happening. So the next step is for me, I would like to see a test of this lower low, or sorry, of this most recent low at 1421. And from there, I'm going to long once price gets back below and then back above, something like this. All right, as soon as price gets above here, I'm going to long, because this is going to be a much larger completed structure. All right, and then from there, you can do something like that. All right. So that's what I'm looking for. That's currently why I'm shorting. Let me show you guys the entry I got. Now, unfortunately, I did not get the ideal entry, which is why I was a little bit hesitant on entering at first, but I saw this as a valid structure to complete, this much larger B here. So A to a B to a C. So for me, I definitely would have shorted this at the top. Unfortunately, I had stuff going on, and I could not. I wasn't thinking proactively. I definitely was like thinking, okay, I can definitely catch a short in time. I didn't realize it was gonna dump this hard, and it was kind of dancing here, so I was a little bit more hesitant. But I did catch that entry off of this here. Now, this is not something I, preach to you guys that you do, but for me, if price couldn't hold above this and definitely couldn't hold above that 1625, to me, that's definitely more of a bearish sign. So I'm currently short off of that level, and I'm going to just wait and see. And hopefully we get that lower low past 1423. I don't know if I'm probably going to take profit on that, just because if we're going to continue dumping, I think BTC is definitely going to test 17K. I'm not sure exactly if it tests and breaks below and just dies to where we don't get a nice recovery. I might hold on to that each short. I really don't know at the moment, but as of right now, all I can do is I planned my positions, took them, and now I just gotta wait and see what the market wants to do. So that is about it. I'm going to go. I might go over LTC and some other stuff. I don't really, to be honest, I am tired. Oh, look at LTC. Oh, this hurts the soul. But beautiful setup. Hurts that I missed out. To be honest, I am tired. I had a very, very rough day at work today. I do not feel like going through all this. If you guys really want me to, you know, if you guys can see this list, oh, you guys can't see it. If you guys see anything on this list you want me to go over, I will be glad to, but I'm not going to go over the whole thing. Let's catch up with chat. Let's see. Phoenix, hello. Can you explain a bit how you take profit in your strategy? Great question. There's different methods on how I personally do it. There's a couple ways. It really depends on, it's a case by case scenario. Now, what I mean when I say that is it depends on what I'm looking for, what type of trade I'm taking. So for me, let me give you an example for this ETH short that I'm in. All right, I talked about how I'm currently short and looking for a lower low past at 1423. Now, some people who use this method like to use fibs. I think there's a time and a place for it. You have to look to play a much larger structure in order to do, for me to comfortably say do that, because the problem you can run into is that, for example, let's say you took this ABC here. All right, your take profit would have been based off of this whole structure. We're like 1657, so let's call it like somewhere in the middle between the 0.5 and the 0.441. I'm trying to paint you guys an example, and let's say you're using a reasonable stop loss 2. This is like a 6. For that R&R, it's decent. But what happens is, if you were gonna play this ABC short on, for example, the same short that I'm playing, I'm just gonna pretend like you guys, that whoever took this trade got it at the correct entry. If you try to take the 0.5, the 0.441, you can see that's not much of a trade. And what happens is, if you're trying to play every single ABC, the issue is that you're going to run into situations to where when you use fibs, the R&Rs are going to be terrible to the point where they're not even taking, like this at 3.2, that's garbage. So it depends. Oh, sorry if I hit the mic. To me, it really depends on what you're playing. So for example, I'll give you guys an example of where certain things make sense. That's okay. Sorry, let me backtrack a little bit. Before I go about doing that, the main method I like to use is I like to take profit based on opposing structure and opposing ideas. So what I mean by that is, if I'm shorting here, all right, based off of this line, I'm most likely, if what I want to see is I want to see a lower low to form this setup. All right. And depending on how the market responds when it gets down here, I might just take profit when price does something like this. So like, all right, once I can see, how do I say this? I'm not going to take it immediately if price comes down and back above. I might want to see if price can kind of recover and not put in a lower low, because that can easily be a situation where you have something like this. ABC. Let me get rid of this. Paint a better picture here. All right, price could do something like that. And this is a little bit exaggerated, but like price can come up, put in a much larger structure, and then fake out and just continue lower. It's a really case by case scenario. If you really want to play it safe, in this situation, I probably would just take it on the break of that low and when price comes back above. But to me, I'm trying to get like kind of the best bang for my buck, if that makes sense. So when price kind of dances around here, sorry, I'll keep doing this over and over again. But like right as soon as price kind of forms some sort of support, it makes some sort of uptrend, I'll probably go ahead and take profit on that. That's just me though. A situation to where fibs would make more sense is, let's use this as the same structure as an example. All right. So let's say price does form this larger ABC and you decide to take a long here. All right. So now that price formed a much larger ABC relative in size, because like, look, I'm zoomed out. I can't zoom out anymore in 1 hour. So this is a nice, decent size structure. Then I would say, let's say hypothetical price bottomed here. Then I could say, you know what, guys, you probably can go ahead and take the fibs from there and try to long that. All right, and that's an 8.5 on a 2% stop loss. That is a great R&R. So it really depends on the side of the structure you're playing and where in the structure that you're deciding to play, if that really makes sense. It's kind of confusing at first, but those are the main methods I look for. And primarily, if I had to give you like a little checklist, the first thing I would do is look for opposing structure. What I mean by that, find a good setup that conflicts against the position that you're taking. In this case scenario, when price came back below, it was a valid setup for price to reverse. So I would go ahead and probably take profit, either if price came back up or, you know, if price forms some sort of support here. It doesn't necessarily have to. It really depends on how it behaves. That's the first thing I look for. Next, if the structure is big enough, go ahead and take profit based off of fibs. You know, depending on where you draw and how big the structure is. The problem with fibs is that if you're too zoomed in, it doesn't make sense because the R&R is not going to make sense and you're going to miss out on bigger potential moves. I hope that answers your question. That was a lot, but that's like the train of thought, how I go about using it. All good. Sorry to hear that. Take some time for yourself, my guy. Tomorrow is a new day. No, I appreciate that, Trevor, but you know, it's one of those things where it's like I just wanted to go home, and then all the energy I had was put into my work day, so I am shot, and I'm stuck drinking. I didn't even eat lunch today. I'm stuck drinking a liquid lunch, and this is the lunch of champions. I had my nephews over, and they love fruit punch, so I'm drinking leftover fruit punch here. Hawaiian punch is always the most nutritious and delicious drink you can drink. Just kidding about that. Tough. Yeah, it happens. But we're here, we're hanging out, having a good time. Phoenix, let me know if you need me to clarify more on that. It's kind of hard for me to give you a just a basic answer, because to me, I approach it a little bit differently. Like, for example, like, let me give you another example of a certain situation where fibs made sense to take profit on. So if you look at this most recent, or this bigger pump here, we had an A to a B to a C within an A, B, C within the C. All right, so me personally, I'm taking this short here. All right, in this scenario, you're pulling the fibs of this entire structure. And just to give you like context of what this is, that's a 43% move. That's massive. So for me, that makes sense. I would say go ahead and pull the fibs and take it off for there. If you plot the chart, or you plot your position on your chart, and kind of like ballpark it, say 2%. That's a 6.5, 7. That's a good R&R. I'd say go ahead and take profit there. But it really depends on where in the structure price is, and it's up to you to determine that. That's clear. Thanks. So no multiple take profits. That's another point too. I've had people ask me in the past about multiple take profits. It really depends, because where I would, okay, let me give you guys another example of where taking multiple profits was, not saying the best thing to do, but justified in my opinion. The only time, let's use the same exact scenario. You have such a good position up here. And I know some people who've gotten even a high, like got this at even higher price point. So for me, I wouldn't necessarily jump into taking full profit right away. It really depends. The only time I would say do multiple take profits is if you are in such a large position up here, to where you have a good short, you have an opposing structure. But look what would happen if you just took it right away. You would have missed out on this, and a part of me would have said, you know what, you can go ahead and take like half or a quarter off the table. My thing is, if you're going to do that, make sure it's on a position that you're not so willing to let go of. And in this case, this was a massive move. So if you got a really good position, I wouldn't be so eager to let it go. It's okay to take profit, like, you know, same thing here. Like, let's use this structure as an example. All right, almost same scenario. You would have shorted. Now, in an ideal situation, you probably would have taken profit based off of this lower low here. Now, price kind of danced. It kind of went straight through. If you took full profit, you would have missed out on the rest of that dump. You would have took half profit. You would have made a good amount more on the rest of it. So it really depends on where price is, if that makes sense. That's like the only time I would ever recommend taking partial profit. It has to be on a fantastic position. So let's say a future example going forward. Hypotheticals here, right? Hypotheticals. Let's say that this is the bottom. Let's say we get past this lower low. And let's say hypothetically, this is the bottom, right? If you manage to get along and hold it, to me, I wouldn't be so eager to give it up, but there's also no point of holding it forever. So the next kind of scenario, why is my phone blowing up? Dude. My watch is going, okay, make sure nothing. Well, obviously I would know if something price action was happening because I would see it on the chart. But for example, like I'll cover this as well if you guys want me to, but pretty much let's say you get this kind of bottom, and let's say price just keeps going, right? The only other time I would ever suggest taking profit on a big swing like this is if you have a structure that plays into the continuation of the bigger trend. So if this is going to be a reversal, this is going to be the bottom, you're obviously looking for higher price action. All right, something like that. To me, I would want to see something like this, even slightly bigger. I can't draw. There we go. I would want to see something bigger. And within that pullback, I would go about saying, if you have a very nice setup here, I would give you the green light to go ahead and long, because you're playing into the continuation, and you're also compounding the gains that you made here. Now, obviously, in an ideal scenario, we want to take profit up here, you know, re-enter down here and continue pumping, but that's not how it works. Until you have that bottoming structure, you don't know if that's going to be the actual bottom. So yeah, you're making like a 20 R&R and a 2.5%. That's fantastic. To me, it's more beneficial to compound your gains than it is to hold a position forever. But I don't necessarily believe that you should take. See this? I wish this was an easy way to explain this. even still in this scenario, if you told me that I want to take 75% profit and leave 25% on the table, absolutely okay with that. But I think holding a full position all the way up to what you think is going to be the bottom doesn't really make the most sense. So hopefully if that answers that question. Thatcher, we're just talking about multiple take profits. Oh, that's clear. Thanks. So no multiple. Okay, wait, I read that. What's shaking, Digital? How you doing, buddy? How's your Tuesday going? For me, it's like a Monday, so I'm discombobulated. But how are you doing, buddy? I take 75 at the 441 and 25%. Yeah, see, Trevor, that's a good that's a good split. Because the problem is with the 0.441 is that there's no guarantee that there's gonna be a bottoming there. Like if there was a situation where price 100% of the, or 85% of the time always bottom that the 0.441 to 0.5, then I would say yeah, that's a little bit more strategic and a little bit better for you to take profit there. But that's not necessarily the case. That's not even the case most of the time. So it really depends on, it's a scenario, it's a case by case scenario. See, keeps you from promoting to new things. Exactly. Because what if it's the same thing? Like if you took profit here in this region, like I did, I know I told you guys this is a good area. Yes, it was a good area, but I was also understanding and willing to hop into another short if the opportunity did arise. And for me on ETH, the setup formed, and for me that was an opportunity to continue playing to the downside, just in case that this was a much larger move and just wanted to complete a much larger structure. That's just me though. You know, I had a buddy of mine who I talked to a good amount, or I talked to a lot, who's also trades as well. He had a short from up here. And I told him, dude, if you don't want to be if you don't want to be extra involved, I say just hold it. That's completely up to you. It's okay either or. And he held it, and I'm sure he's sitting pretty. So Josh, if you're watching this, hope you made some good money on this dump. Shut up, NordVPN. How'd you guys spend your Labor Day? To be honest, I didn't do much. Caught up on, well, I overslept, did some stuff. That was pretty much it. It was kind of crappy up here to go to the beach or anything. Up by me, it's like downpouring. It's like 75 degrees and downpouring. It's been raining since last night, so it's almost been 24 hours of straight rain, which thank God that we actually needed. Hopefully that's the beginning of a sign that summer's over. And don't take this personally, but I don't like the extreme seasons. I don't like winter. I don't like summer. I'm more of an in-between seasons kind of guy. Fall and spring. That's my time. That's my place. That's where it should be. If I can get fall all year round, I'd be happy. All right, so guys, we're just hanging out here for a little bit. You guys can ask me anything. Go ahead, I'm an open book. If you guys are coming from David's channel, or you guys are watching this from David's channel, hello. I know I've been getting a lot of subscribers recently, and thank you guys so much for that. I really do appreciate that. The support means a lot to me. You guys are coming in asking good questions. I'm getting constant TMs, which is a blessing and a curse. It's a blessing because I love helping you guys out. It's a curse because sometimes I'm caught in situations to where I can't necessarily answer right away, and I feel bad leaving you guys hanging. Um, Eventually down the road, I would like to be doing this full time. So hopefully I could be around to help you guys answer more questions and all that stuff. Hopefully that's the goal. Yeah, go ahead. I feel really bad just sitting here. I'm trying to think of what else. You guys call it the stream on Friday night. I play a little bit of video games. You guys get to see how much I suck, which is fine. Risk of Rain 2 is not for the faint of heart. And I definitely have to practice that game more. Also, I've been playing a little bit of Battlefield. Wow, there's a lot of decent sized setups here. But a new game recommend you guys go check out called Generation Zero. I don't know if you guys have played that. Let me pull up my Steam. I'm gonna pull it off in the side screen. You know what? I'm just gonna do this. You guys go on CD keys. Definitely check this game out. This is something I've been recently playing. Oh, sorry for the sound. Basically, it's like robots. You're in like Finland or Switzerland, and robots have taken over. And there's like a certain storyline, but we're kind of just getting started. Kind of just exploring, doing side missions and stuff. These big robots you fight. Really cool game. It's $25 on Steam. I'd probably would pay full price, but me personally, you can go like on secondhand websites and get it for a lot cheaper. Don't recommend doing that though. Not financial advice. Look at the pump and dump ETC had. I did not see that. God, this is worse than the LTC dump. At least the LTC dump had a setup. That was just a straight wick up and down. I wish I caught that. Did it put a higher high here? Did. Yeah, let's see what happens. I think we're gonna put in a lower low. I just to me it makes the absolute most sense. But you guys will be hearing from me if I do decide to do that. Beginning of the month, if you guys are interested in learning more about the ABC method and ABC strategy and learning more from me, I do have my own private Discord, which includes tutorial videos, access to me real time, going over setups. You guys get access to the calls that I make first. I know I'm on other servers talking about this, but I pretty much prioritize this group first. Let me show you guys some of the videos. You know, ABC method stuff. I released an additional thing talking about more how to navigate bybit, because I have some people asking me some questions on that. Trading psychology stuff, which is stuff you're definitely going to absolutely need to learn to be a successful trader, regardless of they use the ABC strategy or anything else. You guys that's gonna be your bread and butter to your career. So I do have that available if you guys are interested in joining. I do have a Patreon link in my description. It's a monthly thing. My goal is to get you guys in and out. I don't want you guys to stay for long. I might be changing that though. I want to focus on building this group a little bit more. If you guys are interested in joining, I might just change it to a one-time fee and you guys get a lifetime access. And how I want to do it is basically start small, you know, a little bit lower price, and as more people come in, I'm gonna increase that by a little bit. So if you guys are interested in that, or possibly signing up for a lifetime subscription, let me know. I might work out a deal or two for you. I'm down to support. Oh, thank you, Trevor. I appreciate that. If you're down, if you're serious, if you are down to support Trevor, if you want to get in, sign up, DM me, and then we'll figure it out from there. I know you've been in Kite's group for a while. Do you pay? Actually, you know what? You don't have to answer that. We'll talk. We'll talk in chat. We'll DM each other. But I'll take care of you, Trevor. Long story short, we DM. Yes. I really appreciate that. It means the world to me. Thank you. You're a good friend, Trevor. Good supporter. If I ever run into you, I'll buy you a beer. Or two. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you. I know the OGs. I appreciate every single one of you, but I know there's a select handful of people who've been here for me since the beginning, and that absolutely means the world to me. So, at least I want to do is, you scratch my back, I scratch yours. You know what? I gotta make like a stream ending version of that screen. Maybe I'll do that after. I don't know what I'm gonna do after though. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up in like 5 minutes, perhaps. If you guys have any questions for me, it could be trading. I've had people ask me about streaming setups. Trevor, have a good one. I will talk to you soon. I appreciate you, buddy. But I've had people ask me stuff about streaming setup. So if you guys are interested in streaming or wanting to stream, I can definitely set any. I can set that up for you. Or I can help you set that up. Kind of point you in the right direction when it comes to gear and stuff, or just videos in general. I'm not expertise by any means. All right. So like I said, I'm gonna wrap things up here shortly. If you guys are just tuning in, feel free if you ask me a question now. I'm gonna close the book up here in a little bit. To be honest, I am exhausted. I want to shower. I want to relax, settle down, or possibly catch up on some things. I just realized something. Oh, I gotta go put together a PC. Great. There goes my relaxation. A buddy of mine just texted me. I guess I gotta help a buddy swap out power supplies. I'm not gonna make fun of him or anything on stream, but he upgraded everything else but his power supply, and then his computer was not handling that well, and you couldn't figure out why. So that's all I'm gonna say. All right, folks. I'm gonna go ahead and call it. We're just about at the hour mark. I know a lot of you guys like watch the replays for the updates and stuff. So if you guys made it this far, whether you're watching live or whether you're watching the replay, I really do appreciate every single one of you who has made it this far. You guys are the real supporters. I really thank you guys from the bottom of my heart. It means the world to me. Thank you guys so much for stopping by, appreciating, showing your support, whether it's coming by, saying hello, watching, signing up. You don't have to do anything. So the fact that you guys go out of your way to support me really means the world to me. So thank you guys so much. I will catch you guys on Thursday, because I keep thinking today's Monday, but it's Tuesday. I'll catch you guys on Thursday, and unless something happens, I'll let you guys know. But pretty much the plan is, and the schedule is still concrete. So until that happens, or until that changes, I will let you guys know if that does. But I will catch you guys on the next one. Thank you guys so much for stopping by, hanging out, asking me questions, saying hello, doing your thing, chit-chatting. Thank you guys so. Oh, I already said thank you. I'm catching up on chat. Make sure I got it caught up on everyone. Yep. All right, guys. Thank you guys so much. Have a good rest of your night. I'll catch you guys soon.